Hi, Flash Tube, it's Diane. Today is January 25th. Yes, 2022. And it's our high today here in Minnesota. -1. That's our high. We started at -25. Yeah, it's supposed to warm up later this week. We'll be above 0. Hopefully the 20s above or more. Yeah, it's the yo-yo time. So, a little life update. My Marine is processed out, and so he'll be home this weekend. And this weekend is his 25th birthday. So he'll be home, and not sure timing, what his next move is. He's probably going to sleep right now, and we'll go from there. I forgot to grab 2 things, so just want to make sure I grabbed them. But health, I'm doing well, and yeah, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Well, it's more talking through the diet because I can reintroduce foods. So that's where we're at on that. And I have 2 birthdays this weekend, actually. One on Friday, and which is my Marine, and then one on Sunday. So yeah, January, we have 4 birthdays in January. And then I have next week is my middle daughter's birthday. So I'm looking in the wrong. I thought the camera was there, but it's over there. Sorry. I am very much an amateur at this. Very, very much. But before we get too far, I wanted to mention Christy Donne, you have not contacted me about this bag yet. This is the one you did win. You have till January 31st, another week, and or less, well, about there. Otherwise, I'll just keep it for another giveaway later in the year. But I was contacted by Joyce, and it's in the mail. Hope you enjoy it. But let's do a little quilting. I don't have much. And then jump into stitching. So I showed this one last time. Or did I? No, I didn't show this one. I showed it in the book, but I don't think I had any of the blocks together. And it was from the Kim Dial book, Simple Whatnots. And it's this one right here. It's called Barn Stars. And I have it done, except I have to put the borders on. But then it's pieced, these blue and whites. And so the blue and yeah, the blue was from a charm pack. So all the blues are from a charm pack. And the white, this is solid white, and this is a print cream tannish color. I only have 2 background colors. Those are, they're from my stash. Yeah. And this is from my stash, and this is from my stash. These little cornerstones. But I like how it turned out. And it looks very different than her original one. You can see the colors. But I like how this turned out. And then I have blue border. It's a batik blue on blue. And then this one, I'm not sure how I'm going to quilt it. How they show on the cover is it's quilted in arcs, and I've never done that before. I'm new to the quilting. I like the piecing, but I want to start experimenting more with the quilting. And then I talked about using my Lemoine star with some scraps just to figure it out. And the quilt, I just got an email yesterday that I should be able to go in tomorrow and pick up my quilt kit for February. But this is the Rapid Fire Lemoine Star, and these are they're 11-inch blocks, although I didn't make a boo-boo. But I made it the same boo-boo on all the blocks, and the boo-boo is here. I didn't give enough space at the end of the point there to account for adding. So these kind of blunt up against each other, as do these. But I made the same mistake on all the blocks. And this is a scrap piece. I just wanted to experiment. This is how you're supposed to make it. But then I thought, well, you know, if you mix it up here, so you only have 2 fabric. Well, actually there's 3 fabrics because there's 2 white backgrounds. But kind of play with the different combinations, and then this guy has the white, the 2 whites in the center. Or are they all the same? No, they're the 2 different whites. So this one is one just for me to practice my quilting on, play with it. I can be a table topper. I can totally mess it up and throw it away. Yeah. And then Quilty Haul is just this, The Love of Quilting. My mom gifted me the subscription, and this is the first one. I think it only comes out 4 times a year, I think. I could be totally wrong on that. But I really like this one, this red and white one, that contrast. And I think that was the only one that really jumped out at me. But one thing I like about these magazines, like other like cross-stitch magazines, is you can pick up a bunch of other things too in the magazine itself that you may not have seen otherwise, like different tips or ways of organizing. Although I do like this one, it's rather light, but that's my haul. Stitching. I have a new start. I have 2 finishes, and I have progress, and I have whip go progress. What is this one? Okay. My stitching haul, I did receive my nest egg from Trisha at 3 All Threads. It's a really good way. I get Classic Colorworks. It's a good way of building up your stash, and I'm getting toward the end of the alphabet. And I think when I hit that point, I will maybe do weeks or some other. She has a whole variety of flosses, and I think it's really good, and she does a fabulous job. My other haul, if you can call it that, Sunshine Stitchers are doing kind of a designer focus all year. There's a couple of designers on there I don't have, or so I thought. So I went through all of my Christmas ornament issues of Just Cross Stitch, and I found, I think it's Bent Creek. But then I also went to her website and I found a freebie. If you're looking, like we mentioned all these designers and stuff, and you're like, oh, I might want to try that designer. Check out their websites. Many of them have freebies, and that way you can get a feel for the colors they use and the symbols they use. Are you going to like their patterns or not? I went, and I'm not going to show them because I want you to go to their websites and check them out. But, sorry, I had to answer a question. Some that I printed off, I downloaded and printed off. Heartstring Samplery has a number of them. Beth Twist, I'll link her website below. I printed a number of hers because I like her patterns and her designs. Oh, I was going to show a previous finish. Oh, well, I'll do that another time. Let's see. That's a quilting one. Oh, Hands on Design has a few freebies. The Hands Across the Sea has a couple. Yeah, so if you're interested in trying a new designer and you're like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to really like their pattern, go to their websites. Check it out. I know Plum Street has freebies. Mirabilia. I'm blanking on different designers, but there are a number out there. Also, check your magazines because you might already have a pattern by that designer and you may not know it. But this one that I stitched, because, let's see, my monthly rotation is I have a new start week. So my first week is new starts. I had 3 new starts. Well, I actually had 4, but sorry, message. 3 new starts, and I have a separate WIPCO board for those. And so what I do is I look at the WIPCO numbers and look at those squares and choose between those two. And this month the new start was my Scarlet House, which I showed last time. No, that's the Scarlet Letter. What was it? I did the Scarlet Letter. Yeah, I wrote it Scarlet House, but Scarlet Letter, I did that the first week. I have no progress that I showed last video. Week 2 is Mirabilia, and I chose to work on Persephone. I am not going to do the background. I don't like the background on this one, but I'm using all the called for colors, 2 strands over 2 threads, except for, does this one have Krennic? I don't know if this one has metallic. I don't remember. If it has metallic, I just use 1 strand as it comes off the card or the spool. I don't do 2 metallics, no. But 2 DMC threads. And what I had done last time, I had this section here that you're going to see done, and I had just kind of the start of her knee and down. So this is where I'm at. I filled in all of this. So she has kind of a fold of her skirt kind of follow this curve here, and that's where I'm at. There's still a lot of skirt left as a typical Mirabilia. All these open spots, beads. Beads, beads, beads. She is my oldest whip, and we are not fighting. Yay. But I put her away after a few days. I didn't stitch on her the entire week, but I made some good progress and I was very happy with it. And this is 32 count Lugana, vintage antique fields. I do not know who dyed it. I don't. It's a piece I picked up at Stitchville a number of years ago, obviously, because she was started in 2013, and I couldn't tell you who dyed the fabric, but it's looking nice on this fabric. And again, I'm not doing the background. I don't like the background on this one, so I'm not gonna stitch it. Random threads. And then so I didn't stitch on that, but what did I stitch on? Because week 3 is my WIPCO, and my WIPCO numbers were 2 and 19. One of them was 5 days on a Blackbird, and the other is 5 days on Plum Street Samplers. And so on the Mirabilia week, I felt inspired to pull out the Blackbird and stitch on it. And the piece that I stitched is this one. It is Liberty Rose. It is from the book Sweet Land of Liberty. It's the only one that's not on the outer cover. Otherwise, I'd point to the one on the outer cover. By Blackbird. I started this one at StitchCon 2021. And the first part, the bird part, is stitched on 40 count vintage beeswax. Oh, I have a loose thread on the back I need to trim. I'm using all the called for colors, 1 strand over 2 threads. And here it is. It is complete. So I'm counting this as a finish, even though I have the other half to go, because that will be on a totally separate piece of fabric. Park City Blend. Both of these pieces of fabric are dyed by R&R dyers. But I think this really turned out nice. There are 3 different colors in the whole piece, and I just love how this bird turned out. I'm going to admit there's a little fudge on this, but it's one of those things nobody would ever know. And I know there's at least 2 places I fudged, and I know where one of them is, but I couldn't tell you where the other one was. So if I can't tell, you can't tell. I'm going to change it to SR. That's my husband's initials. So the rose will be DR. and then I will sew them together. I'm thinking they'd be cute as a cushion rather than a framed piece. I'm not sure. But again, as far as I know, Sweet Land of Liberty, the book, is still in print. So I finished Whipco number 19 because that was my Blackbird. And then I pulled out Plum Street. Thought I would work on Paradise Lost, but I was inspired to pull out a different one. And this is a new start. And it is this one, Betsy's Tart. It's still in the plastic. I've had this kitted for probably 2 years. It's also on my Patriotic Stitching. And I finished it last night. Here it is. This is 36 Count Fog by Picture This Plus. 1 strand over 2 threads. The one thing I am going to change though, she has a hat on and you can't really see it because it blends into my fabric. So like this star over here is that same color and you outlined it. So I'm just going to back stitch her hat real quick and then she'll be done. But I think she turned out really nice. And I think I don't remember how many colors are in this one. Where did I put it? There's 8 colors in this one. I used all the called for colors. 1 strand over 2 threads. So it's a new start, but it's also a finish. Except for I'll do the little back stitching. It's because of my fabric. And the model was stitched on Liberty Gathering Gray. So the fabric the model was stitched on must be a couple shades darker than this. But I like how it turned out on this piece of fog. So I'll just do that, and I'm going to get a Tart to do this finishing in the Tart pan. That's how I want to finish her. So I'll just finish that, and then she will be ready to go. Oops. Where did I put that? Oh, over there. I forgot to put the picture in with Persephone, so I'll tackle that in a minute. So both my Whipco numbers were done. Let Freedom Ring, it took me 6 days to do, although I think on one of the days I didn't stitch. So that would be 5 days of stitching. Done. So now just waiting later this week, Jessie Marie will call the next numbers and we'll see what on my main board that will be. So I have 4 boards. One is my main board. That's the one where it really counts. The others are, I have a group of my starts. I have a group of 3 Mirabilias. So on Mirabilia week, I look at the Whipco number and what was called. And my Mirabilia this month, one of them was Persephone and one of them was Lady of the Flag. So I chose to do Persephone because she was calling to me. And then I did the Scarlet Letter for my new starts. And then next week, or this week now, right now, is Sampler Week. Because I wanted to finish that. You get focused on a project, you want to finish it. I think this is the sampler I'm going to work on. I will not work on it tonight. I have Bible studies tonight, so I think I have time. And it is one that I do want to have finished this year. It's 3 things. Moira Blackburn. I'm stitching on 40 count Verdal white. Verdal is an even weave, and it likes to fray a lot. So I took some quilt binding that I had left over from a quilt, and I just quickly sewed it down. And then when I get this framed, I'll ask, do you want that, or I can take it off. But Verdal, I tried to zigzag the edge, and I was too lazy to get my serger out. So I called it good. And I am using the call for DMC colors. Again, this is 40 count, so 1 strand over 2 threads. And here's where I'm at. This line here needs to be repeated over here. Finish the flowers, and I think I have to finish this bird. And down in this area is halfway point. So I need to start working on this again. And we will see what WIPCO numbers are called, because this is on my WIPCO, right? Yeah, this one is also on my WIPCO, so it could be called to be stitched also. So who knows for next month. But that's what I'm looking at doing. Although, to be honest, there are 2 other samplers that are calling to me. One is The Land That I Love, Teresa Kogut, and the other is Ann Morrison, which I should pull Ann Morrison out. I am so close to a finish on that. I should just get it done. Just get it done. But I will see what calls to me when I have time to sit down and stitch. That's all I have today. So 20 minutes, not bad. My plan is to do a sampler this week, look at the WIPCO numbers. So next week would be a new start week, which my new starts are Lady Liberty by Kesslin, Scarlet Letter, Heaven is My Hope, and what's the other one? Lady Liberty, Paradise Lost, Plum Street. So of those 3, I'll pick one and stitch on it all week. Those don't have to be done this year, but I just want progress on them. Just progress. So if I feel something calling to me, I'll stitch on it. And then again, it'll be influenced by my numbers, by the official Jessie Marie Stitch Go numbers that are up there. And I'll probably come back in a couple weeks. Valentine's Day will be 3 years that my daughter has been cancer-free, and she had a recheck a week and a half ago, and everything looks good. And she's been on the get rechecked every 3 months, so her next one, she gets rechecked, and then it could go to every 6 months. So she's still feeling good, and it's so good to say that she's still cancer-free. So that's how we're going to be celebrating. I'm trying to figure out, do we do a cake and a party? I don't know. It's worth celebrating, that's for sure. And we've never really celebrated Valentine's because our anniversary is in March. And March 14th will be our 30th wedding anniversary, so we do a bigger celebration on March 14th. But that's all I have right now. So we'll call it good. And again, Christy, get a hold of me so I can get the bag to you. Otherwise, I'll hold it for another giveaway at another time. And I'm just going to quilt and stitch and be mom and be mom and be mom. But love to you all, and I will talk to you later. Bye.